Hi folks, welcome to my channel. Now, normally my videos are about taking pretty astonishing pictures of space without spending hardly any money. But this video is going to be different. Come on. Because in this video, I want to show you what it's like to look at space through binoculars. I have got out of London and I'm in super dark Dartmoor National Park in Devon with my telescopes, and tonight I'm going to do something I've never done before. Believe it or not, I am actually a binocular astronomy virgin. To give you the true experience from your armchair, I've also got this. I told you I was a geek, didn't I? This is a star tracker with an astro camera and a 135mm lens. So what I see through these binoculars, I hope to replicate and show you with this lens. We can look at the Orion Nebula, we can look at Seven Sisters, Andromeda Galaxy will be up there, and basically we'll have the whole Milky Way stretched along here. Hope I don't fall off that wall. No! It's okay. It's entirely possible that it's going to be a bit rubbish, or it might be amazing. I really don't know. I've never ever done it. So by the end of this, we should have a pretty good idea of whether binos and a lovely dark night sky, whether the two things are a success or a failure. We are going to know what it's like to look at space through binoculars. These, by the way, cost £69. Apparently, they're really good. One of the things that makes them good is they've got nice big 50mm lenses that let the light in, and they're not mega zoomed in. They're only ×7 magnification, and that's pretty good for looking at the night sky, because the more zoomed in you are, the less bright what you're looking at is. So it's like they're like big light buckets. Also, I believe, because they're not so zoomed in, you can handhold them without the wobble being too bad. So anyway, we're going to find out. All right, bring on the night. There's Venus. And coming out from behind those trees, which are being lit up by the security light from a cowshed, look at that, is the Milky Way. And just in front of the Milky Way is my favourite constellation. Orion is looking... I mean, he really is standing there, isn't he? He's a bloke standing in the heavens. Every astrophotographer loves Orion because there's so much cool stuff to photograph. And I'm going to use those famous 3 stars of his belt to get focus. And it's our first opportunity to bring in BinoCam. Absolutely swarming with stars. It's just so varied. And to be honest, it is far better than anything I'm getting with Astrocam, or in fact any picture I've ever taken. And that's because the human eye has 1,000 times better dynamic range than any camera. Just gotta say, it's fantastic. So BinoCam, brilliant at reproducing the binoculars field of view, but not so good at reproducing the brightness of the stars. But cameras are supposedly far better at picking out the faint stuff. So just below the belt is the Great Nebula of Orion. That's the first place to go, I reckon. Here's what it looks like through a camera. This took over an hour to get. So the question is, how will our eyes and these binos do in, well, the blink of an eye? Oh yeah, there she is. I can see it. It's a massive grey cloud. It looks like some kind of winged creature. Okay, this is my best attempt to grade BinoCam and show you what I saw. I admit it looks a little bit hokey, but there we go. Anyway, the guys from the farm came out to have a look too, and their daughter, she could actually see it in colour. So I guess what it looks like also depends on how good your eyes are. It is pretty cool. It is cool. So, the binos could pick up Orion's 12 light-year wide ball of glowing gas, but now I want to have a look at some dust. Dust around one of the most famous open star clusters in the night sky. Seven Sisters, supposed to be 7 stars, but it's loads more. For an hour and a half, my fancy telescope has been shooting the 7 Sisters. And it is just gorgeous. Lovely, lovely dust lanes which are reflecting the light from those bright blue stars. It's gorgeous. Alright, bino time. I mean, pow! God, it's like looking at headlights. Those 7 Sisters are so bright. Tell you what, it looks nothing like the photograph I've taken or what Binocam is showing you. It's a super bright ball, an amalgamation of stars that are just kind of floating in space. You don't get any of that from the photograph. But what about the dust? I'm not sure. There's a sort of fuzziness. I can't honestly say I can see wisp of dust like I see in the photographs. I spent another half an hour just cruising along the Milky Way. Milky Way looks amazing. Then I decided to check out our nearest, biggest galactic neighbour. I think I can see it even without the binoculars. Oh, it's big. It's big. It's 5 times wider than the moon. To find Andromeda, what I did was follow the line of the Milky Way until I reached a W-shaped constellation called Cassiopeia. Now the bottom triangle sort of points to Andromeda. Wow. It is amazing. And it's big. It's bloody big. At first, I could just see stars with a faint smudge behind them. Then the smudge resolved into an ellipse, and my knees began to tremble like I was on the edge of a cliff. How could something so big be floating above me? And it's just sitting there, watching us. My heart is skipping a beat because that faint splurge is like 30 million light years away. Andromeda is just mad. Mad. I mean, I can't explain it. It doesn't look... It's not like you see loads of stuff. But it's the thing that has most got me, for sure. So, after 2 hours of looking through binoculars at the night sky and seeing stuff like this, the Rosette Nebula, what do we think? What's the verdict? Is it going to float your boat? I don't know. You ain't going to see, it's not going to look like it does in the pictures. But there's something about it being real and really being here and really appreciating it. That's cool. I would say being outside somewhere really dark is magic. And if you've got binoculars, it's even more magic. I could spend hours out here, only I'd probably die of cold. That's it, folks. Thank you very much for listening, watching even, and please have a look at some of our other videos. They are completely opposite of what you would imagine a boring astrophotography video to be. That is Rick, aka Richtenstein, the musical genius, who has produced these fine tunes that you're listening to now. Please subscribe, help us out. Go on, subscribe, and we have a really big one coming. The ultimate astro battle. With just £600, we're going to make an astro rig out of odds and ends and pit it against my £6,000 setup. You will be amazed at the results. See you all later.